I was born and raised in Atwood, Kansas. Graduated from Atwood High School. Went to Kobe JUCO. Graduated from there. Moved to Hayes in 1973 to go to school, and I never left. I'm in the floor covering business. I have been the actual floor covering business for over 48 years. Self-employed for 46. Married to Mary Mellick. And we have 4 children and 12 grandchildren. I served on the commission from 2007 to 2015. And I got off the commission. I did not run and seek re-election in 2015 because I believe strongly in term limits for every political office.
And then you were appointed?
Yes, I was appointed, and so I'm not really running for re-election per se, because I was appointed by the commission to fill Commissioner Chris Dinkle's unexpired term. I don't believe any commissioner individually can take credit for accomplishments that the commission achieved, because it takes a majority of the commissioners in order for any accomplishments to be achieved. Now, there's been several really big things that have happened, and one of them is we have kept your mill levy at 20 mills for 12 of the last 13 years. Now, you won't find any city in the state of Kansas outside of Johnson County that has a lower city mill levy, nor will you find any city in the state of Kansas that is still operating on the same mill levy that they were in 2007. The other, what I think is a big accomplishment by the commission, is adopting a pay-as-we-go policy. That instead of, we now save our money, we pay for our projects in cash, we no longer bond them so that we aren't paying that interest for years to come. Not every city can do that, and we are one of the very, very few cities that can do that. And that's taken a lot of work over the years. I know when I first got on in 2007, we had to do without some things in order to get to that point. And I don't want to see us ever go back to that. When you go around and you're talking to people and you explain that to them, they're like, wow, you know, that is great. I said, you know, instead of pushing those payments off for 20 to 30 years, making your children, grandchildren, and whoever, you know, pay that interest plus the bond, you know, rate to the principal, yeah, it's people are like, wow. And I'm like, they think a lot of other cities do it, but you know, a lot of cities are running anywhere, and cities our size, even a lot that are smaller, that are running $40 to $100 million in debt. And so that has a direct correlation to our mill levy, because we have to set aside so much of our mill levy to pay those off. But we struggled for those years and did without, and we paid off the bonds that were outstanding. I mean, when I got on, they were still paying for Hall Street. They were still paying for Main Street. We were still paying for, you know, West 8th Street. We just finished the wastewater treatment plant, and that was something that was mandated. We had to do that, and we are set up for the future. We have that in place so that as KDHE ratchets down their limitations on our discharge, we can meet those very easily. And that was something that, since I got on, when I got on in 2007, we struggled with every certification period, making, you know, that possible. And we're so much more efficient with the way it's laid out. We use so much less energy, and so we are prepared for the future. But the biggest thing, I think, is we've got to keep pushing for that Water Transfer Act. We need to bring our water from our ranch to our city. And it's not just for the city. It will be a viable and long-term supply for 75 years, and it's sustainable. And I think that once we get that water here, that it could be a huge economic development driver, not only for Hays, but the region for years to come. Water and sewer lines. Now, I know it's not glamorous to replace water and sewer lines, but a lot of those water and sewer lines have been in the ground for 75 plus years. And the key thing there, if those things quit working, Hays quits working. What we've got going right now, we've hired retail strategies, and they are recruiting national retail businesses to Hays. They go out and they show what we have, what we need, and they have all the data to provide to those companies. So they are looking to bring those companies in. We also partially fund Grow Hays and the DHDC, and both of those entities work daily on not only recruiting retail, but bringing other types of businesses to Hays. The Commission also funds some scholarships with Fort Hays State, which is now offering a minor in entrepreneurship, and we're hoping that in the future that we can reap some benefits by new startup businesses and other jobs that were created by these people taking the entrepreneur classes in Hays, or at Fort Hays. Another thing is we do have a development policy, an economic development policy that allows for incentives for not only retail, but also other types of businesses. And the more jobs that we can create, the more retail that we have a possibility to bring to Hays. We have a lot of things in place to bring retirees in here. We have Fort Hays State University. We have jet service to 2 major cities. We have clean and safe living environment. We have low mill levy, needless to say, and we have many other amenities that can attract those retirees, whether it be Hays Arts Council, Fort Hays State University, needs to say, with their Encore series. We have festivals, we have sports activities, we have golf courses, we have parks, we have many kinds of, many different denominations of churches here. We have walking paths. Retirees are looking for something to occupy their time, something to do. We have civic organizations that they can join. And so probably our biggest thing is getting those retirees to discover Hays. And I think the CVB can help us in reaching out so those retirees can discover Hays. They're already working, CVB doesn't work just in the county. They don't work, or just in Hays or the county. They work in the state, and they're looking national. So I think if we could get Mother Nature to help us by giving us 365 days of 70-degree weather, sunny skies, little wind, we would be able to recruit a lot of retirees. But weather has a big impact on retirees, and so there's a certain section that want that. And we have to look at the ones that want all seasons. But I think the CVB can really help us in getting those seniors to discover all the amenities that we have to offer. Another thing is we have a regional hospital. A lot of seniors look for that regional hospital. Hayes has been good to me. I've raised a family here. I moved here by choice. I have stayed here by choice. I am planning on staying here to the end. I really love Hayes, and I want the very best for it. And you know, that's the only reason I'm running. I don't have a true agenda. I need to get this done. I need to get that done. We need to position ourselves, not only for the next decade, but I want to position us for Hayes to be able to exist, because the depopulation of all of western Kansas is, to me, our biggest concern, because we don't live in a bubble like we used to. We depend on everybody. What's good for Hayes is good for Russell. What's good for Russell is good for Hayes. Same way with Plainville, Phillipsburg, Waukeeny, all of northwest Kansas. We're all in this together. We all compete for different businesses, but at the end of the day, we all need each other.